Welcome to Fire and Smoke. My name's Amin Sheikh, and today I'm going to show you how to season this, a 130 gallon custom offset smoker to Fire and Smoke. Let's get to it. First up, let's take a look at the smoker itself. Now, this smoker arrived to us completely raw metal, and as you can see, we've only had it 2-3 weeks and the rust itself is starting to get pretty bad. We are in Scotland, we have had heavy rain, it is uncovered, so you can see what we're actually working with. The majority of the rust that I have is forming across the main top section of the pit itself, and particularly just above the firebox, which is where the heat comes out, it smashes the firebox, burns off that season we've got on there, and you're just having to start the process again. Now, we have had the custom offset smoker for a couple of weeks now, and we have ran a few cooks in here, but let's just see what the firebox looks like on the inside, and we'll just clean that up as well. So as you can see, what we've got in there is a little bit of wood from a previous fire. That will take a couple of minutes to clean out, and then you can see the black smoke, and that's just smoke that's coming out as the door is ajar on the notch system. Now, let's take a look inside the smoker, and as you can see, as I mentioned before, we have done a couple of cooks on here. You can see lots of bits of cheese, there's lots of bits of gristle on there. So what we'll do is we'll scrape all of that off, and then we'll also spray these grates as well as everything else. Now, taking a quick look inside, as you can see, we've had some water come right down through the stack, and that started to create some rust. Inside the actual box itself, it doesn't look too bad. We've obviously got some juice, we've got some fats, we've got some stuff that's there from the previous cooks. So we'll clean that out as well. Now, what I use to scrape all of the gristle and all of the fat and all of the stuff that we don't want on there is basically a paint scraper. All we're going to do is back and front, left to right, scrape it all off. Make sure when you're doing this to lift your grates out and hit both sides and get everything scraped off properly. As you can see, this is all the chud and all the stuff that we don't want on there, and that's the stuff we're actually scraping out. Now, this does take a couple of minutes, so be thorough with it and make sure you get everything off there. Otherwise, what's the point in doing it? Now remember, if you've got two grates, the top one and the bottom one, to also make sure you get the top one cleaned off just as well as you get the bottom one cleaned off. Now, what I like to use while doing this is just a little metal tin bin type thing, and it allows me to scrape all the chud in there, it allows me to grab it all off, and it means it's not flying all over the place. Now that the grate's done, let's take a look at the inside, and as you can see, this is all the chud, all the crap, even a chicken leg that's fell down there from a previous cook. We need to get all of this scraped out. To do this, we're just going to use the same scraper we used for the grates, and we're going to use the same bin, and all we're basically going to do is pull it back and forward, follow the line of the tank, and then when you've got enough chud on your scraper, pour it into your little bin, continue, repeat the process until the inside is completely clean or until you're happy with it. Now, let's take a little look in the inside. As you can see, we've scraped all of that chud off there. We've not done the best job, we've still got a little bit of water in there, but don't worry about that because that's going to burn off as soon as we put a fire on. So it is time to light a fire in your firebox. Get the pit up to a raging temperature, and then we'll proceed to the next step. When I light my fires, I like to just put in a couple of fire lighters, stack all of my wood on top of that, leave everything open, let the flame get going, and let the pit come up to a real good temperature. While stacking the wood to promote airflow, I like to use a ladder system. Now, this is not a lot of wood, we will keep topping this up, and we will have a bigger fire in there than what's currently there just now. So let's light it, let's get the fire going, and let's get the smoker up to temperature. Now that the fire's completely going, all we're going to do is close down the door and let everything get hot, get warm, and get ready for the oil. Now that the smoker's doing its thing, let's take a quick look at the actual problems we've got. The rust is already on set. As you can see, it's pretty bad along the top because that's where the main heat's happening, and then again the end of the tank is pretty bad as well. So we're going to hit these areas and pay particular attention to them and get multiple coats on there. So, now that the pit itself has actually come up to temperature, all we're going to actually do is we're going to completely cover it in oil, and for this we're actually choosing rapeseed oil. This is just a spray bottle. The rapeseed oil comes in obviously big cartons. All we've done is put it in here, and basically what we're going to do is cover the entire pit. Every single section you can see is going to be covered in oil. Then we're going to take a cloth, which is going to be an old bathroom towel, and we're going to wipe it all back down, and we're just going to keep putting wood in the fire, let the temperatures keep coming up, keep repeating the process, and this is going to season your pit. Now, as you can clearly see on mine, I've only had this a few weeks, and unfortunately for me, being in Scotland, it's been torrential rain and I've already got rusting. So for me, I'm probably going to be doing this usually every 3 to 4 weeks possibly, even in the winter possibly more than that, but we'll just keep going, see how it goes. The more you season your pit, the better it becomes, the less rust it's going to be on the overall. It's going to be a good idea, guys. So let's just get this everywhere and let me get back to you. Now, this part isn't hard, but it's a little bit tedious. You just need to make sure you get around the entire smoker and you get everything covered in a good layer of oil. As I said, we're going to use that bath towel and we're going to rub it all back down, so it's not going to be a sticky coat, it's just going to be a light coat that's covered everywhere. As I said before, if you're going to go through the effort of seasoning the outside of your smoker, it's always worthwhile just hitting the inside as well, because why not? Once everything is covered in oil, this is what it should be looking like. It's all dripping, it's all covered, it's all shiny, it's all good, the oil's absolutely everywhere. As you know, it's a little bit too much oil on there, but that's fine. The next stage of the process, all we're going to do is take that bath towel and we're going to go round the entire smoker again, and we're going to rub it all down. We're going to take up any excess oil, which basically leaves us with a thin, small coat of oil on the outside, which is obviously going to burn in, and that's going to help the seasoning process. So grab your towel, grab your cloth, grab your old t-shirt, grab whatever it is you've decided to use to rub it back down, and then just get on with the process. Go around the entire pit, rubbing it all down, making sure not to leave any massive spots of oil or any dripping oil on there, because all that's going to do over time is that's going to become sticky, and that's going to attract dust and attract flies, which doesn't actually affect the performance of the smoker, but it does affect the overall look of your smoker. Now that that's done, all we're going to do is take a quick look at it. As you can see, all the oil has been rubbed back down. There is a thin coat of oil on there. We'll let the fire burn, and what we're going to do is let it burn for an hour or two, possibly up to the 4 hour mark, and we're going to repeat the process again. So effectively, in one day, we're going to try and get 2 seasons on this. But what I tend to do is whenever I'm building a raging fire in there, if I'm doing chicken wings, something with a high heat, I'll always stick another coat of oil on there, especially on the bad spots, just to keep things seasoned in well and prevent any rusting happening in the future. In a nutshell, that's how you clean and season your backyard offset smoker. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you really enjoyed. I hope there's some tips and some tricks in there that you guys can use at home on your smokers. So if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe, share and follow, and I'll see you on the next one. See yous.